This is the Sports Porch, Philadelphia, with your hosts, the Grand Schwalbini, Rube, and me, your technical director. Come on, Philly, show us a little Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, and Sixers love. The Philadelphia Sports Porch starts now.
Heyo! It is time to roll. How you doing, Rube?
I am doing terrific. It's a beautiful day today where I live in Austin, Texas. 83 degrees on January 6th. I think a cold front's coming in this weekend, but it's sunny and beautiful, and it raises the mood for sure.
It's not good on the East Coast. That's all I can tell you.
What is it? What do you got?
Like
what do you got out there?
Rainy, misty. It's actually a little warmer than normal, but it's lousy. You've lived up there for a good portion of your life, let's say at this point, and it's no fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, what is fun is it is wild card weekend. So we got
wild card.
Yep, the Birds are in the playoffs. Welcome to the Sports Porch Philadelphia. This is where two guys who grew up, went all the way through elementary school, through high school, and kept in touch at college and beyond, where we talk all things Philadelphia sports. And of course, we get into all the nitty-gritty stuff as fans do. We don't have any ties to any media or teams, so we can just tell it like it is. And isn't that the best way to do it, Rube?
It is. Yeah. It is. Although, admittedly, we are huge Philadelphia sports fans, but none of them sponsor us. None of them give us our scripts for the day or the topics we speak about. We take the opportunity each week as two buddies, longtime buddies, to talk Philadelphia sports, which is both of our favorite topics. And we're looking forward to hearing from you guys and talking with you guys as well.
Yes. And if you are on X, make sure to follow us at Philly Porch. If you are watching on YouTube, or if you're not on YouTube, go to YouTube. We want to build up that channel. Go to at Philadelphia Sports Porch and click subscribe. We drop this as a podcast later in the evening after the show, so you can listen to it anytime you want on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts. So let's just get right into it. I didn't put together any highlights because we pretty much handled that from the debacle of the last game of the I actually said the last game of the preseason, because that's what it felt like, a preseason game. Would you agree with that, Rick?
It did, yeah. With the second team playing and the way we looked, it did look like a preseason game.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what?
And listen, as Philadelphia Eagles fans who have been spoiled for since the year 2000, the regular season kind of is the preseason for us. So that slip, I wouldn't worry about it. It's okay.
Yeah. So and obviously, the decision, a lot of people going one way or the other, but the decision was basically, do we rest the starters or do we play them? I think even though we blew a chance at the 2 seed, I think I'm still okay with the fact that the Eagles starters got some rest, being that they're playing the 49ers, who did not get rest last week, and they got their asses handed to them by the Seattle Seahawks. So they had a rough game. They got some injuries. That linebacker Bethune is now out for the season. That doesn't help them. With some of their other players already being out. So I don't mind the matchup that much either. I mean, I think the defense is probably one of the poorer defenses for the 49ers in the playoffs. And there's one other thing that I thought of today. Do you realize that while the conversation probably over the last week, and probably still tailing a little bit into today, while the discussion was, should you go for the 2 seed, or rest your starters. Do you realize that come kickoff of the Eagles game, we may be in the 2 seed?
Meaning that,
Meaning if Green Bay beats Chicago the day before,
which is
then
unlikely, but could be.
could be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Jordan Love has made some hay in the playoffs before, and you're going up against a team that's never been there before. New head coach, new quarterback to the playoffs. Look, they made a nice little comeback on the Lions, but hey, they were down 16-0 midway through the fourth quarter. So they're certainly, I see them as a very beatable team. And if they do lose to the Packers, then we essentially are in the 2 seed. The only thing is we didn't get to play the Packers to get there.
Yeah, however we get there, it's funny. Sports radio, they have to find things to talk about every day, and I'm already tired of the shouldn't they have played the starters, blah blah. You know what? Everyone can second guess, but the fact of the matter is guess what? Here we are. We're like we talked about the other day. We're the defending champs. We got a highish seed, and like you said, that seed could be altered after day one of the playoffs. So we need to take care of business.
Want to say hi to Tony May, who has jumped on board. Tony, hey, if you have any comments, any questions, or any points you want to make, feel free, just add them in the comments right there where you made your other comment. We'll be more than happy to talk about what's on your mind. And another thing that I thought about today, which now look, I'm thinking way too far ahead here. Okay, but let me just do it just for the
That's
sake.
what they pay us to do.
That's you're right. You're right. We're making a lot of money, so we don't want to let you down.
That's right.
At home.
That's right.
You do realize that this season the Eagles have beaten Pat Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and Josh Allen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this. The path to a back-to-back Super Bowl could be Brock Purdy, Caleb Williams, Sam Darnold, Bo Nix. Would you take that if I told you before the season started?
I would take it.
Mm-hmm. But we don't want to disrespect, is what you're saying.
Well, but I also the list of people you didn't go down are the quarterbacks we lost to. We lost to Jackson Dart. We lost to Josh Jacob or Josh. What's his name? The guy from Washington.
Josh Johnson. But we
Josh
also
Johnson?
don't have to play them.
No. But my point being is that
We
there's
can lose
more.
to anybody.
There's more to the team than just a quarterback.
That's right.
And I think we just need to worry about ourselves. Forget about who we're playing. If we execute the way we need to execute, we'll be fine. And if we don't, then any quarterback can beat us.
All right. And Tony chimes in here. He says, well, I think the coach made a good decision not to play the starters because if the quarterback or the running back got hurt, then everybody would have been in an uproar. And I think that's something that you said after the game the other day. Yep, makes a lot of sense, Tony. I think we both agree with you.
Yeah, imagine if Saquon tore his ACL.
Right. And then he's not only out for this game, but maybe next year. Right.
So, yeah, ifs and ands. It's all in the past. It's time to look forward. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Okay, but before we break into the keys to beating the 49ers, one thing I want to get into is just for the Eagles regular season, we decided we're going to give an MVP to the offense, to the defense, and to the special teams. And I am going to start with you, Rube, and your MVP of the offense is?
I'm going with Dallas Goedert.
Dallas Goedert,
right? Record touchdown pass catches by a tight end for a guy who's coming off of essentially a cut in salary and no one thought he was going to be back this year. I think their most consistent offensive performer has been Goddard. And oh, by the way, everyone looks at the touchdown catches, but he's a hell of a run blocker. And when he doesn't play, we usually don't look good. Not that our run game looked great this year anyway. So I'm giving it to Goddard. I think there's a little bit of it's statistically based, but it's also a little emotionally based because I think we really would have missed him if he wasn't back this year. And I hope like heck he doesn't get picked up and get a big contract somewhere else this coming year.
I mean, for sure. And I think one of the reasons why they didn't want to give him that big contract was because he seemed to get hurt every year. I don't think he really got hurt this year, did he? Maybe he missed a game. I don't know, but I can't really recall.
I don't know
Maybe
if he
one.
played all. I don't know if he played all 17 or 18 or whatever many they play, but yeah, he stayed pretty healthy this year. He played 15 games this year, so he sat out 2. One was probably last week, and I don't remember what the other one was. But 591 yards receiving, 11 touchdowns. You know,
Tony is in agreement with you.
Tony, you're a smart person. Agreeing with Rube. So yeah, that's my offensive MVP. I think well deserved and well earned. Consistent, really good performer.
Okay, my MVP for the offense is going to be Jalen Hurts. I'll tell you what, man. Jalen Hurts, is he not just like the coolest dude there is? I mean, just look at him there. I mean,
he. If I could change places with someone, with people on Earth, I would pick the Grand Schwalbini #1, and because mad respect. Number 2, maybe Jalen Hurts. Number 3, maybe like a Hollywood star. I think that would be kind of cool. But they tend to have like problems and stuff. But he is the coolest. He's good looking, strong dude,
I know.
and he just is always just like above it all, like cool as a cucumber. But that doesn't make him an MVP. What makes him an MVP?
Well, what makes him an MVP for me is, I believe, I don't have the stats right in front of me, but I believe that he finished with 26 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Take out that one game where he had 4 interceptions. I think
25 TDs.
25 TDs, 6 interceptions.
25 TDs, 6 interceptions.
Right. And he also, I believe, added in 8 rushing touchdowns.
Correct.
So I believe that is correct as well. And look, I mean, hey, the bottom line is whenever this team is not going well, right? How do we get out of it? We always get out of it by Jalen Hurts having a big game. Early in the season when we struggled for a little bit, then he had that perfect passer game, perfect passer rating game against Minnesota. Then there was another time where we had lost 3 in a row, and then he comes out and he has a really solid game. Even in the games that we've lost, and maybe he hasn't played as well, I still think just in my opinion, the lack of quality play from the offensive line this year, which has resulted in a lack of quality play from the running back position, which is, and also, let's be honest, they're not utilizing one of his biggest strengths, which is his running ability to keep him healthy through the year. And that's one of the things that we can count on in the playoffs is him rushing for 50, 60 yards, and maybe having some designed runs in there, because that really keeps everybody guessing on whether they can, come in or have to stay back. I just feel like he's always there when you need him. And, and at the same time, I mean, not to harp too much on it. I mean, I know Tanner McKee's playing with backups, but it also just goes to show you what, an inexperienced quarterback looks like when we do think really highly of that inexperienced quarterback as well. I think you and I both feel like he could potentially have starter potential in this league. And and he might have looked fantastic if he was playing with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley, right?
And
But the
the
bottom,
entire offensive line.
right,
By the
right,
way.
right. But it does just go to show you, like, how that was like a game where it's like, all right, an inexperienced quarterback just does not get you very far in this league. You really have to kind of like suck it up and go through their growing pains. Like when Jalen Hurts had his first season as a starter, he was 9-8, right? And they won a whole bunch at the end just to finish 9-8. So I go Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Let's see if there are any comments on that. Tony says a very humble dude, and he says, I don't like our offensive coordinator. He got to go. And I agree with you there. Do you agree with that, Rube?
Yeah, the body of work doesn't support a renewal of that contract.
No. And, by the way, we didn't really talk about this last week because, it was just sort of like a preseason game. But how about his comment? Like, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, he made a comment. He was like, well, sometimes we just run the ball just to run the ball. And on some level, we sometimes say that, right? But because we're thinking like, yeah, hey, you don't have to throw 45 passes, run the freaking ball, right? But I don't think the offensive coordinator should say, yeah, sometimes we run the ball just to run it. Like it's acceptable if we don't get any yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm a little tired of him.
there's that. Where I think he really failed was in last week's game. Why did they
Yeah,
throw the ball 41 times? I know I said earlier I don't
right,
want to keep looking back, but we're
right.
talking about the effectiveness and the efficacy of an offensive coordinator.
Hmm.
Totally mismanaged that. If I was him, I would have given the ball to Tank Bigsby 30 times.
Right. Tank Bigsby scores the go-ahead touchdown and never gets another carry.
I'm befuddled. And I don't know how much of that is Sirianni and how much of that's Patullo, but you never really worried about when Kellen Moore was calling it. You knew Kellen Moore was calling the offense, and he wasn't
Right.
deferring to the head coach. So, you know, I I'm going to go on a little bit of a. It's not a rant, but just something that really annoys me.
Hmm.
You were asking me the other day, what did you think um of the hard knocks in season
Yeah.
with the NFC East?
Right.
And one of the things, and to repeat, I didn't really like it.
Hmm.
Um, However, one of the things that just really pissed me off was they showed the pass that Hurts threw against the Raiders, that beautiful seam pass for that last touchdown where he did one of
Hmm.
these.
Yep.
And when he came back to the sideline, Sirianni is like, was all like about, hey, you like that design, don't you? You didn't, something about that design. And just
Yeah,
talking
I saw
about,
that.
design,
Yeah, I
design,
saw
design.
that.
I'm just like, really? You're boasting about, the one good pass play that we had this year and your great design. And I think he just needs to, I'm okay with him being excitable and being,
Yeah.
and,
Right.
and pumping up the team. But I've heard now a couple of times from different people use the word arrogant about the coach. And uh I think that is perhaps uh, you know maybe on the mark. I think he needs to tone it down just a skosh.
He does. Like there was no reason to like after the Buffalo game, he was screaming in the hallway, and AJ Brown was looking at him like, "You're crazy, dude."
Uh,
you know.
they seem to like him, but listen, this isn't an indictment
Okay.
on the coach
Right.
segment. But yeah, I could defend. Truth be told, I could defend Hurts as the MVP of the offense because he probably is. But when you think about the league, he was an average
Hmm.
quarterback this year. Um, right, with an 11-6 record, well, 11-5 record. Um, Passing yards, he was 16 in the NFL. He was number 8 in interceptions. He had the one bad game. Passing yards, we talked about. Passing TDs, tied for ninth. So he was an average quarterback this year, comparatively speaking, to the rest of the league. Is he the MVP of our offense? I think 100%. I said Goddard because I
Mhm.
do believe that he had a great year. But when push comes to shove, who's the most important person on our offense? It's Jalen Hurts, 7 days
You're
a week and
right.
twice on Sunday, especially if Saquon isn't running for 2,000 yards.
Yep. Okay, so who do you
Uh,
got for defensive player of the year for the Birds?
I have Jordan Davis.
Oh,
I
look at him
I
run.
love that, and right, biggest play of the year right there. He doesn't make that play. Um, we still may be a number 3 seed just because the Cowboys and the rest of the division is so bad. I'll just
Mhm.
be nice about it. Um, but he was a difference maker. No, by the way, who was stuffing up the run when Jalen Carter had, a down year or was out
Yeah.
injured?
Yeah,
Uh,
he really was there, man.
he anchored our defensive line, no doubt about it. And people had to pay attention to him. He came in shape. Um, and he was a difference maker. I'm sure his play led to at least 1 or 2 wins. Obviously,
Definitely.
the Rams, you could probably find another one.
Absolutely. So for me, my first thought was Jordan Davis, but we decided we didn't want to do a duplicate. And then when I went to my next thought, I realized it wasn't Jordan Davis. It was this guy, Quinyon Mitchell.
Quinyanamo Bay.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
right.
look, he didn't give up a touchdown the entire year. I mean, I can't rattle these things off the top of my head, but I mean, I've seen things like when I'm going through X, and they basically show like Quinyon is first at this, second at this, first at this, third at this, first at this. You know what I mean? Like he
Mm-hmm.
basically rarely gives up a play. He's been called for a few pass interference calls this year, but
Just tugging the
outside of
jersey, tugging a little of the
yeah,
jersey. Yeah.
yeah, but outside of that, I mean, he's pretty rock solid, man. Like, you know, I can't really tell you a time where I sat back and I was like concerned at all about the ball being thrown where he was covering.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just rock solid. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I think the way you look at it with him is the fact that we often go through a week and we barely talk about him is exactly what we want to do, right? I
I
mean, outside of wanting like a pick six, but
Listen, he made an impact as a rookie and didn't have an interception until the playoffs last year, right?
right.
I'm trying to find his past defense statistics. We'll have to find it somewhere here, but I'm sure they're terrific. He was on my list. There's so many people you can pick on the defense, right? My
Right.
first thought was Zach Bond.
Yeah,
Uh,
I thought Bond too.
right, anchors the defense. Cooper DeJean, you
Yep.
could put in the same breath as Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, what a draft! Holy cow!
hmm
2 difference makers picked right behind one another. Um,
And Hunt
and
was after them.
Jalex Hunt, where did Jalex Hunt go? Not
Texas Austin?
Houston Christian.
Houston Christian. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, let's move on to we did do special teams. Unfortunately, it was not quite the year for Jake the Great, or Jake the Make. So we had to go different. By the way, I like this comment here. Tony says all the defense is the MVP.
All right, Tony.
Yeah,
I think that's a
I like
fair.
it.
I think that's
I
fair.
like it.
Especially as the season's gone on, we needed
Yep.
the defense for sure.
So, Rube, who did you pick for special teams Eagles Player of the Year?
I picked Braden Mann.
Braden Mann.
You spoke earlier about we never hear about him or talk about him with Quinyon. For some
Mhm.
reason or another, we never we notice it during the game, right? We're educated
Mhm.
watchers of football and notice that he flips the field tremendously. We weren't super excited about it when we got him a couple of years ago from the Jets, but let me tell you something. He, w- I can't. he's got to be a Pro Bowl punter. He's been phenomenal this year.
Yeah, I think he will be this year. I think he was second in the league in punting average.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he's my guy. And
yeah. I mean,
that's hard for me to say anybody other than Jake Elliott because he is the number one most indispensable
right.
Eagle there is.
I mean, he never looks nervous. You always can sort of bank on. I mean, whenever he kicks the ball, I'm ready to watch the punt returner start running backwards 10 yards.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he's been outstanding this year. Really
Yeah,
has been.
he has been. So, Rube, it came down to, you took Braden Mann. That actually would have been my special teams MVP as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
You couldn't give it to Jake this year. So I
Couldn't.
had to go a little bit outside the box for my special teams player of the year. And that guy is Jalen Carter.
Okay.
I know he didn't play much this year, but he blocked three kicks this year.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's huge.
He blocked three.
Okay.
And a couple of them were huge in terms of winning the games. Remember, before Jordan Davis's blocked field goal return for a touchdown, Jalen Carter blocked a field goal before that.
Yep.
And then didn't he also block either a field goal or an extra point in the Buffalo game, I believe?
I think so, because it ended 13-12, so that score would indicate a missed extra point along the way somewhere.
Right. So, hey, look, the one thing I will say is, I do get disappointed that he's not on the field, but when he's on the field and he's healthy, he's an absolute beast. That's what he looked like in Buffalo. Just make that swim move and just clobber the quarterback. And the fact that he's doing all that and he's still like not taking a play off on the field goals and extra points, I appreciate that. So, I'll give it up to Jalen Carter for that.
All right.
So with that, one thing I do want to just give everybody an update on, Nakobe Dean, who is also a pretty cool looking dude. Vic Fangio did say today in a press conference that he will be back for the playoff game. So that is good news. And Rube, let's just go over keys to victory against what I like to call the 40 whiners.
Don't give them any bullets. They could be listening to the Sports Porch Philadelphia.
You're right. I don't want to give them bulletin board material.
We don't want to give them bulletin board material. By the way, just AI is our friend. Quinyon Mitchell, 0 touchdowns allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Passer rating allowed, 60.3. Lowest among quarterbacks with 500+ snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Completion percentage allowed, 41.6%, lowest among cornerbacks with 250+ snaps. Good choice, my friend.
He's ridiculous, man.
Yes.
It's Roynell Young out there.
Toast. Wait, that was somebody else. I remember Roynell Young.
Toast was Izell Jenkins.
Izell Jenkins. There you go.
Yes, yeah.
we love you, Izell, if you're listening. But yeah, he is. We hit home runs with both him and DeJean, no doubt about it.
All right. So keys to victory against the 49ers. What do you think?
Well, I think on the defensive side of the ball, let's just start there. Key to the victories is you got to contain Kittle. He's their biggest threat. So to me, if you can contain Kittle, who's a little banged up himself, that's number one. Number two, on the defensive side of the ball, I don't see any wide receivers that put fear into my soul. Right? There's no more Deebo Samuel. No
more Brandon Ayuk.
No more Brandon Ayuk.
I'll tell you what, Jawan Jennings seems to always make plays.
He is, and he's a strong dude. He's a fiery guy. He's a Tennessee guy, so you got to love him. So listen, you stop the run. It's you stop the run. I'm not worried about Purdy being super athletic. He's banged up as well with the thumb. So I think you play stout run defense. You keep Kittle contained, and that's a winning formula. On the offensive side of the ball, we got to be able to run the ball. I think we got to, their offense when they're clicking, and they have been clicking, and they have the mastermind offensive coordinator and head coach in Shanahan. We keep their offense off the field, and it doesn't become an issue. And given how banged up they are, you would suspect that we should be running the ball down their throat and passing very little and only as necessary. So if Saquon gets over 100 yards and we keep Kittle contained, I think we win this game going away.
Yeah, I mean, I guess here's what I think. Now, the interesting thing you say about Kittle is Kittle is probably the weapon I would be most concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I'm not really a Shanahan fan. I mean, I understand that he's a good play caller, but I also feel like in the biggest moments he comes up short. And like, to be honest, my thought on Kittle is we don't really even have to worry about him. You know why? Because Shanahan's going to take him out of the game. He's just going to have him in blocking. He's gonna look at the fact that, like, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I think something like the last 5 weeks of the season we led the league in sacks.
Okay.
He's gonna look at our defensive line and he's just gonna say, like, all right, we need Kittle to be in here and protect Brock Purdy. Now my biggest fear is that CMC goes off.
Yep.
Not so much from running the ball, which he does have the ability to do, but he's always good for that screen pass and takes it like for a 20-yard touchdown or 40-yard gain. We really need to be on top of that screen pass, and that's the Nakobe Dean specialty.
Okay.
Is hitting that. So, but that's my concern. We got to keep CMC under control. We got to force, a turnover from Brock early so he doesn't, gain confidence in the game. So that's what I think we need to do on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, I think it's really simple. I mean, I think that all of their starting linebackers are out, I believe. Jalen's got to take advantage. This is a game where Jalen should be doing some running. He should have about 75 yards running. If he does that, then there's no way they're going to be able to stop Goddard and AJ and Devontae if they're worried about Jalen running. So that's the key to the game for me. It's unleash Jalen, but a big part of that is making Jalen part of the running game.
Hey, by the way, when you talked about people you wouldn't mind changing places with, CMC would be another one.
I could see that.
We need to do a whole show on if we could be somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, I forgot about McCaffrey. That's a good call. But I did say we need to stop their running game.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a wild card. He could be a game changer, and my guess is that we're going to put all resources. And you're right, Nakobe Dean's probably going to shadow him.
Right. Okay. All right. So good stuff there. Let's very quickly run through our week 1 playoff picks.
Okay.
So the first game on Saturday at 4:30, we've got the Rams at the Panthers. Now, before you make your pick, I just want to let you know that there have been 4 occasions where a division winner hosted a playoff game that was a team with a losing record. Okay, that just like Carolina is, they're 8-9.
Mm-hmm.
3 of the 4 times the team with the losing record won the game.
Boy, I hope you're right.
So Rams at Panthers. Who do you got?
Give me the Rams 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. They've looked too good on offense. I think they're mostly healthy. Stafford seems to be as good as he's ever been, and their defense is really tough. I would love to see Carolina upset them, and it's just weird to think that this game is home at Carolina. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's something wrong with playoff seeding here, but um, I, based on what I saw in a must-win game last week, they didn't impress me much.
Now, I'm gonna go crazy here. I'm gonna take a flyer. I'm gonna say Panthers are gonna win this game.
What makes you think that?
Well, what makes me think that is I've seen the Panthers play a number of games at home, and I think in particular at home they play pretty well. And I just really think that, you know, look, first of all, the Rams are not playing very well lately. They're really not. Stafford a couple games ago had a 3 interception game. Um, you know, Puka Nakua, as amazing as he is, seems like he's a little banged up. I'm not terrified of Kyron Williams at the running back position. And their defense is pretty good. And Jared Verse is a great player, but I don't know. I don't think that I don't think they're great at 3 levels of defense. So, give me a little Chubba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard,
Give me
a little Rico Dowdle.
give me some sprinkle in a little Rico Dowdle, and give me some what's that receiver from Arizona's name? Titoria or something? What's his name?
I don't know who you're talking about.
He was their number 1 pick. I think he was like picked around like number 10. He's their number 1 receiver. Um,
I don't know.
and
I have not paid a single ounce of attention to the Panthers this year.
And give me Bryce Young for a couple scrambles. So hey, look, the way the way this works. Every year there's some team that wins, and you just you're like, I can't believe that happened, right? And I am basically telling you, it is going to be the Carolina Panthers.
All right. Well,
And
you're on tape forever.
That guy's name is Tatora McMillan.
McMillan.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he's he's a good player. Look, so
You're banking the Grand Schwalbini's reputation
hey,
on Tatoria McMillan.
Tatoria McMillan in his rookie season had 70 catches for 1,014 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
All right.
Let's go Panthers. All right. At night, we've got the Packers and Jordan Love visiting the Chicago Bears and our friend DeAndre Swift. What do you got?
Give me the Chicago Bears. I'll tell you why. I'm not a big believer in Green Bay. I'd love to see Green Bay win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big believer in Ben Johnson. And I think you see the difference maker he is as a coach. You see it in 2 teams this year. You see the rise of the Bears and you see the fall of the Lions. And I think on any given day, I would take him against any other coach, most other coaches in the league. So I think he'll figure out a way to win. It's at home. Green Bay, I don't know what the stats look like, but obviously not the same defense without Micah Parsons. I think they just snuck in, and Love doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't excite me. So give me the Bears.
Tony May says Green Bay all day. He likes Love.
I like Love. That's an interesting statement.
I like Love as well.
I like Love.
I'm gonna go Packers with the upset here. Look, I just think the Bears defense isn't anything special. Love seems to look when he's not playing a Super Bowl champion Eagles team, right? Or he's not playing a Super Bowl losing San Francisco team. has lit it up a little bit in the playoffs.
I see, boy, I see those little shots you're giving our
Mm.
teams.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm telling you, I think that Jordan Love, with his experience and with Matt LaFleur's experience as head coach, they're going to come in and they're going to jump all over a team of the Bears with Caleb Williams in his first playoff game and Ben Johnson in his first playoff game. The moment's going to be a little bit too big for them, and they will flounder.
Okay, so we've
If
disagreed on both.
I want to add a little bit more to this,
Okay.
will you give me $1,000 if there's another double doink?
If I had $1,000 to give to you, Grand Schwalbini, I would. Maybe we can call our buddy JR and he can get us some good picks for the weekend.
All right. So now we've got, well, I think we both picked the Eagles for the Eagles 49ers, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And
All
I think
right.
that's
Now
not a homer pick. I think it's a logical pick. I really do. I could.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, this is a very interesting game. We got the Bills on the road at the Jags. Trevor Lawrence has seemingly come into his own this year, and the Jags are pretty darn tough. But then you've got Josh Allen working his miracles down there, and Cook is a very good running back. So, what do you think? Sean McDermott or Liam Cohen leading their team to victory?
Well, you know who I want to say. You know what? I just don't think the Bills are going to falter. I want to be a Bills believer. I really, really do. But for some reason or another, they've not impressed me this year. And when obviously not great weather against the Eagles. But I'm not sure who they throw the ball to anymore. And
Shakir, the slot guy.
Yeah. So, you know what? My upset pick is going to be give me the Jags.
I too say give me the Jags. I'm just not a believer.
Boy, you're really going underdogs. So
well, you know
they're
what?
not the underdog. They're higher seeded. I get it, but it's surprising. Yeah. It's surprising.
I mean, look, the Bills. Look, they've spent the last couple of years winning playoff games at home until they ran into Kansas City. But I think you look back on all those years. I mean, and this is the worst group of receivers that Josh Allen has. And when you're going up against teams that have cornerbacks that are in the playoffs, I mean, you're just not going to win. I don't see how you win with Shakir as your best receiver, who's your slot guy. I can't even name who their starters are. I can't even remember. We played them 2 weeks ago. I can't remember who they are. Yeah. Can you?
Nope.
I don't know. All right. So 8:00 on Sunday night, we got the Chargers. And we've got Air Bear. Herbert.
Remember that guy? Remember that guy? Bear, Bobby Bear.
Yeah, Justin Herbert. Everybody's darling quarterback in the regular season, who always pretty much shits the bed in the postseason. Going up against the Patriots, who had a heck of a year this year. Led by Drake May, but is he ready for the moment? So Rube,
I think Mike Vrabel's ready for the moment, and he's proven it all year that a coach makes all the difference in the world. Where's the game? Is it at New England?
Yep.
And it's on a Sunday night. It's going to be cold.
Yep.
Warm weather team coming to cold. Yep. Yeah, I think I have to take the favorite in this game. Give me as painful as it is to say, give me the Patriots.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go Patriots. I think they'll be ready for this moment. I don't think they're ready to go to the Super Bowl and win it.
That'd be shocking. Wouldn't that be something else? That turnaround would be quite a story.
It would be. It would be.
And it has been. And it has been.
Right. And could you just imagine just thinking like, wow, like, they had 20 years of Brady and now they could possibly be on the precipice of like 20 years with Drake May, who's
don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get ahead of yourself there.
All
big
right,
guy.
so last game Monday night in the Steel City. We
Oh,
got the
Monday.
Texans.
It's a Monday night game.
Yeah, they
Interesting.
do Monday
like
night in
that.
the first round.
Okay.
I hate it just in terms of because like first of all, you got to go back to work before you see this game. It's kind of annoying to me. But Texans at the Steelers. What do you think? I believe Texans have won 9 in a row.
I don't believe in their offense enough to believe, and based on what I saw that the Pittsburgh do the other night, Boswell will make the extra point, or what's his name? Is it Boswell?
Yep.
We'll make his extra points. So give me the Steelers. I'll take it's at Pittsburgh,
Yep.
and their defense looked really good the other day, and I can't bet against Aaron Rodgers and Pat Fryermuth. But I don't know who else they're throwing the ball to, but somehow or another they figured
DK
out.
Metcalf will be back then.
Metcalf will be back, yeah. So yeah, give me the
Yeah.
Steelers.
I'm going to take the Texans. I think the luck runs out, so to speak. When I look at this game, I look at I feel like the Texans have the best defense, maybe along with the Broncos in the AFC, and they're pretty devastating. And I look at the Steelers defense, and I see them giving up tons of big plays.
Okay.
As far as the offense, I think they're about equal, but I think that the Steelers are going up against one of the better defenses in the league, and the Texans are, the fact that their offense is sort of average, it helps them that they're playing the Steelers this week.
Yeah, I would agree.
So I go Texans. So just as a wrap, just to we both took the Eagles, Jags, and Patriots. The Grand Schwalbini took the Panthers, the Packers, and the Texans, while you took the Rams, the Bears, and the Steelers. So we shall see. Will it be upset city or not? I don't know. I do not know.
Well, based on our inability to pick regular season games, I'm fully unconfident, and we're going to be able to pick the playoff games any better. But
you're probably right. Tony May says, no, Steel Bump. Baltimore should have won the other night. By the way, did you see the Monday night game?
It was amazing.
Phenomenal
game.
It
was amazing. I couldn't fall asleep afterwards. Was it Sunday night or Monday? Sunday. It was the Sunday night game because it was the first day back to work after that.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you what, when Baltimore lost Hamilton, it was game over.
Yeah.
It was game over.
Well, we thought, but then, every time it seemed like the game was over and the Steelers were going to win, Lamar Jackson threw like a 50-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, they both tried to lose that game, but they also both played. It was a fun watch for a fan of neither of the teams.
Exactly. All right, so let's move very quickly to the 76ers. And before we get into any discussion, I want to bring you back to the game against Memphis.
Maxey, Edgecombe, puts it up, splash! Oh, VJ Edgecombe, this rookie is ready for the bright lights. Timeout with 1.7 on the clock.
Well, it wasn't a clean switch by the Memphis defense, and Tyrese Maxey makes...
Here we go.
And that was the good. Now, I'll also give you, it's going to be a good highlight, but this is also sort of the bad, which we'll talk about.
Inside for George, shovel it,
Because Denver is loading up, you find Paul George in that short corner, and VJ Edgecombe, my God, he is cleared for takeoff. That is a sick play.
So one of the things that you had thrown out to me was Sixers. Are you excited? Are you frustrated.
What are you? What are you with this team?
Well, I mean, I'll just tell you how I feel. Like, at this point, I'm just so excited that I feel like they landed a superstar in VJ Edgecombe, and and I'm seeing Maxi rise to another level of superstardom. Um, and I just those two guys, and I do think McCain will eventually get back to being himself. I love this team with these guards where they move the ball and they run the floor and they shoot. It's very entertaining to watch, and that to me sort of overrides the frustration part. Where like look, I mean, my God, like all five starters of the Denver Nuggets were out last night, and all of our guys were playing, and we couldn't beat them. Now, granted, they had an amazing night shooting the ball, and sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
But look, I'm not gonna allow myself to get frustrated because I'm just enjoying good basketball. Like, I mean, like what I took out of the game last night, where if you're listening in and you don't know, they were playing the Denver Nuggets, went to overtime. Maxey missed a couple shots that could have won the game, and then Embiid was called for a goaltending on the winning basket for the other
Well,
team.
he also threw the ball away twice in overtime, and
Right.
and
VJ
and
made a bad shot.
VJ took a couple bad shots. Yeah.
Right. But the bottom line is that, I was so enjoying VJ Edgecombe raining down like 4 3-pointers late in the fourth quarter, that I couldn't not enjoy the game. And I'm not really expecting anything from the season either. So I'm just kind of like, well, they didn't win, but future's bright. That's kind of the way I sort of look at it. What's your thoughts?
I think you said that really well. I wasn't devastated at the end of that game as loss. I actually walked away saying, this team is actually fun to watch. When's the last
Right.
time you heard me say anything positive about the Sixers or that they're fun to watch? And they are fun to watch. They move, like you said it very well. They come out of timeouts. Nick Nurse knows what the hell he's doing. They said it last night. They're like, hey, you either get a zone play or a man-to-man play, and you run the right play, and they run it to perfection. They snap the ball around on offense. Sometimes I think they pass a little too much, but okay. Maxi has taken it to another level. I agree. Is so much fun to watch, but golly jeepers, I I really I'm just so frustrated with Embiid because he can make me love him on one play, and then he'll make 3 or 4 other dumb play. He'll shoot a 3 that he shouldn't shoot. He'll throw the ball at how does a $100 million player throw the ball away 6 times in a
I
game
know.
and twice
Yeah.
in overtime? And he's supposed to be, I just it drives me bananas. So on one side, I love the young guy. I love Maxi and I love VJ. And God, I want to love Embiid. And it's so fun to watch them. But on the other hand, Embiid always finds a way to disappoint me. And I
Yeah.
hate to say it. So
Tony agrees.
yeah.
You know what
So
the thing with Embiid is he's so clumsy.
oh,
Um,
when he
and
drives to
like
the basket and falls down 100, he
yeah,
hurts himself. He doesn't
I
need to
know.
be doing that.
Right. I mean, and I almost feel like half of his points he gets just because he's a giant. Because like he'll just go like that and they'll call a foul and then he'll shoot 2 free throws. You know what I
Well,
mean?
he's a skilled. It's amazing. His footwork is so skilled under the basket, but any time else, he looks like a clumsy oaf. And
Oh,
you see it in the
SGA
turn.
Sports Talk looks like a 49ers fan chiming
Uh-oh.
in here.
Okay.
Hey, we welcome you and glad to have you here. If you have any comments, let us know. Let us know what you think is going to happen this coming wild card weekend.
That's
But
really
go ahead.
interesting too. It's
Yeah,
funny. You look at those 4 teams on SGA Sports Talk, and you never, for our whole lives, we've only seen the 4 teams, and you don't really think about like all the all the good teams in Northern California. Uh,
yeah.
So yeah, good to have them, and we look forward to a great
Yeah.
game this weekend.
You know what? Something came out this weekend on ESPN, and I was like, man, this would be like the perfect time to pull the trigger on something like this. Did you see that Trae Young has requested out of Atlanta?
Yeah, I have, but who are you gonna
I
give
bet,
up,
but
and what do you and
bet
where are you
like
gonna put them?
I bet the salary. I know that is true. I mean, one thought I did have just like you is how does he fit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
We
then
don't need another guard.
well, but this is the way I look at it. It's like, hey, give him Embiid, give him McCain. Um, I don't know, somebody else, and let's just go with Trey and Maxi and VJ, and we'll fill in the rest next year.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't
yeah.
know. It's just a thought. I mean, I know it's not great, but I'm just thinking like we also have to think of like, how can we get rid of Embiid? Well, you got to match salaries. This
Hmm.
could be a match of salary situation. It could be that, they could maybe sell that to their fan base because when they trade Trae Young, they're basically saying we're out of it, right? So instead of saying, hey, we're out of it, they could say, hey, Embiid's been healthy now,
Yeah.
and we're bringing in, former MVP, right? Changing the way we play a little bit. So,
But you know what? On the backside of that, right
yeah,
after the Dallas, not the Dallas game, the Memphis game, you
yeah,
texted me and you said this is exactly what we need. Paul
yeah, yeah,
George and Embiid as part of the
yeah,
mix.
yeah.
And outside of a couple of boneheaded turnovers last night, we probably and if we had won the game, we probably would have said the same thing. That's two back-to-back games where we got exactly what we needed out of all the players on our team, or at least the big
That's true.
players.
That's
So
true.
I think we may be overreacting a little bit to trade him, but at the same time, he's so maddeningly, it's just maddening. I can't
Yeah,
say that word. I've been trying to say it for years now. It's
yeah,
just so frustrating to see what a talented guy just fumbles around with stuff like that. And
yeah.
God, I hold my breath every time he drives to the basket because he always seems to fall down and hurt himself.
Right. All right. Now,
Yeah.
real quickly here. We can move on to the Flyers. Did you see the Flyers made a signing today? Did you see that?
Well, they signed Dvorak, right?
Yep,
To
they
a
signed
a 5 year
Dvorak,
deal.
5 year, $25 million deal. And to celebrate, I've got a crazy Dvorak goal and a crazy Dvorak assist to show. Check these
Okay,
out. Here's the
let's see
goal.
it.
Called a no goal on the ice. That's something to keep in mind, but where does this puck eventually land? The second it goes off the stick of Dvorak, I mean, he's right at crossbar level right there.
After review, it was determined there was no high stick. We have a good goal.
How about that hand-eye coordination?
Yeah, and tying up centers are hard to come by. So I actually I saw it at first. I'm like, is
Yeah,
this guy worth 5 million a
right.
year, whatever they're paying him? And then you look at the stats. He's 25 points. He's
Yeah,
8 plus minus, and centers don't fall off trees.
yeah.
So
And you know
I
what?
like that. I like to sign him, keep him there, and I think he and
Yeah,
Zegras are
yeah.
pretty tight. So I like
And you
the
know what?
foundation.
When I was looking for the highlights, I also came across because he's only been with the Flyers for a couple,
Couple
quarter of a
months.
season here or whatever. I
Yeah.
also saw another highlight that said Dvorak scores 3 in the third for the Canadians. I was like,
Okay.
oh, okay.
All right.
Here
Yeah.
is. Have you seen the Dvorak in between the legs pass? The
I don't
assist.
know. Show me.
All right, here it is.
He's got the bucket on goal, drops it back, Sandheim scores! What a setup from Dvorak! There in the middle, but now they're getting another chance short-handed.
That was pretty good, huh?
That reminds me of Rube on the streets in
Oh yeah.
Upper Dublin playing street hockey.
There you go, man. Those some good times, right? So
Yes.
nice little move by the Flyers. By the way, it's Cutter Gauthier night.
Oh boy.
Who we hate. Flyers at the end of one are up 2-1 on the Ducks. I will tell you who has scored. The scores are up. Oh, coming right out of the gates, 4 minutes in, Cutter Gauthier scores on the power play. But shortly thereafter, 2 goals for Trevor Zegras in the first period. One of them on the power play, assists from Dvorak and Konechny, and assists from York and Couturier. Vladar is in net. So we'll see. I read an interesting.
How good was Vladar against Edmonton the other night?
Yeah.
Did you see that sequence where they had like 4 shots in a row and it's like, boom, boom. They looked like freaking Bernie out there.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, I read an article today that I thought maybe just be worth mentioning. And the article was from a guy who basically just said, this is kind of one of those rare situations where actually it was a win-win for both teams on that trade. He basically, said like, look, I mean, Cutter Gauthier is a he's probably gonna be a 40 goal scorer this year, and those aren't easy to come by. But he's also a winger, and we really need centers. We got plenty of guys who can score on the wing. And Drysdale was kind of floundering there with all the instability that they had, and they basically came up with a whole bunch of hockey stats that are pretty difficult to understand. But they were basically explaining that that he is playing at the level of a second tier top 4 defenseman, and with room to grow. So I'd say
work out.
Worked out okay.
He never wanted to come here, and good riddance. And it seemed, where did we get Vladar from? Was he like was he with Vancouver?
Calgary, I think. Maybe Calgary.
Okay, yeah, that's right. He's been the MVP of the team this year by far.
Yeah. Now one quick Phillies note for you here.
I saw that.
Don Mattingly is in the house. What do you think
of that? I saw that. Well, listen, he's been with Toronto, and Toronto went on a pretty good run over the past couple of years, especially last year. It kind of feels. I'm sure they were together on the Yanks, right? Didn't Thompson coach in the Yankee system for a long time?
Apparently, he's very tight with Thompson. And also, did you know that his son is an assistant GM with the Phillies? I did. Preston Mattingly.
Yeah, I did see that.
Now, here's the most interesting part of Mattingly coming. And look, I don't know that this is going to be the be-all, end-all, but the most interesting part of him coming is that Bo Bichette and he apparently are incredibly close.
Okay.
I guess he's coached him before. And, I guess, he was a Blue Jay, right? So he's coached him. And apparently, they give each other praise like crazy all the time.
Okay.
So I do wonder, does Bo Bichette eventually find a way to get to Philadelphia? And if he does,
is he a third baseman?
He's shortstop and third base.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Let's get rid of Bohm.
Yeah. How old the guy is Bichette? Like, is he in his prime or is he older?
Yeah, he's in his prime. He might be like 24, 25, something
like that. Oh,
really?
Okay. I thought he was older than that. Okay.
No, you're thinking Dante Bichette. His dad.
Oh, I could be. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's like, I don't know. I read something about him. Like, he might be like one of only like a couple players to like hit over 300 and over 25 home runs like 3 years in a row or something.
Why would Toronto not sign him?
Well, because they signed everybody. They signed the Japanese slugger to $60 million, right? So they're just throwing their money around trying to come up with that missing piece.
Yeah, true. They need to capitalize on their window.
Right.
But hey, lots of good stuff going on in Philadelphia sports this week, and I would say, listen, wintertime used to be doldrums for us, right? After the Eagles, it's like, all we have we got to look forward to spring training because the Flyers and the Sixers are awful. Both teams are really fun to watch this year, and are having success in their own way. And I feel like for the first time in a while, the arrow is kind of going up and to the right with both teams. So excited to see what happens with both of those teams this year.
So, Rube, we now venture into a segment called What We're Watching. You want to take a stab at it this week?
Yeah, I'll do it in my own Rube way. We talk a lot of sports the rest of the show, but we're going to slip in a surprise at the end of every one of our shows, and just let you guys know what we've been watching in our downtime when we're not watching a game. If we're cruising through the channels and we're trying to find a series to watch, whether it's on Peacock or Netflix or Hulu or all the different channels, there's so many choices out there. And so we take it upon ourselves to give back to you guys and let you know what we've been watching, right? You talk to your friends all the time. First, what do you talk about when you're out to dinner with your friends? Hey, what have you been watching? We're going to make you heroes with your friends. We're going to make you heroes with your spouses, so you don't have to spend all Friday night or Saturday night or Sunday, whatever, trying to find, something to agree upon. We're gonna give you what we've been watching. So, Grand Schwalbini, take it away. What you been watching?
Well, the Grand Schwalbini and the wife Schwalbini went out and saw The Housemaid at the movie theater this weekend.
Okay.
And as you can see in that picture there, it stars Amanda Seyfried and Sydney Sweeney.
Okay.
And I have to tell you, this is a 2 thumbs up. This was really good.
What's it about? I have no idea what it is. What is it?
So what it is Amanda Seyfried is sort of like this rich housewife, okay?
Uh-huh.
And Sydney Sweeney is kind of like a sort of down on her luck kind of girl. Things didn't go well. She's trying to like make some money, being a housemaid, and making some good money, doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And essentially what goes on is there's craziness abounds. And, you're trying to figure out like, wow, like is Amanda Seyfried, is her character, like, is she totally, absolutely bonkers nuts? Or you're thinking about like Sydney Sweeney, you're thinking like what happened? Like what happened in her life? Like, is there something really dark about her? And then of course there's Sydney Sweeney's husband, who is a great looking guy who is kind of hitting on Sydney Sweeney, throughout.
Surprising.
And
Yeah.
you're kind of wondering like, what's up with this guy? Like, is this guy, a dirtbag? Is he a good dude? Is he insane himself? I'll tell you what, it reminded me, I don't know if this is the best way to put it, but to me, it was very similar to like Fatal Attraction in a way. It was really suspenseful, and it was really good.
Okay.
So Leslie says, "Yup, it's good as the book," which is uncommon. Did Leslie see this without you, Ruth?
She did. I think she went with her girlfriends, and
Yeah.
you have to do that from time to time, and I welcome it.
do?
And quite frankly, when she said what she was seeing, I was thinking like The Handmaid's Tale or something like that. I don't know. I was just like, oh, it's like Downton Abbey or something, some one of those shows. It's like a chick flick. And so I had no idea what it was. And
I think,
I guess she read it and enjoyed it.
yeah, I will tell you though, it is very good. I mean, I think you do need to see it. I think it's worth seeing.
The question is do I go see it with my buddies? Since she saw it with her girlfriends, or do I go see it by myself?
Nah, I think this is Rube's got some alone time, on a Saturday afternoon at 3. And
I actually do have alone time because she's away. So all right.
There you go.
Maybe Luke and I will go together. We'll father-son time at the movies.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Good.
So,
all right.
so
Two thumbs up.
Yep. Rube, we're gonna do sort of a first time back to back here.
Okay.
because one of the rules is that you don't have to, if it's a series, you don't have to watch the entire series to review it, but you have to have watched an entire season. So last week you reviewed season 1 of Absentia, and
Mhm.
so this week you're going to be reviewing season 2 of Absentia. So
So
Rube,
yeah.
how did season 2 go?
Let me tell you. So coming off of the last review, which was last week of season 1, I'm like, what are they going to do in season 2? They kind of wrapped it all up. And let me tell you
Mhm.
something. The Grand Schwalbinis, who has seen this series, said you're going to like season 2 and season 3 just as much. And I was a little bit of a doubting Thomas. I was
Mhm.
wrong. I was
You
wrong.
were wrong, dead wrong.
I'm not one uh to binge watch like like in 1 or 2 nights. I think I watched this one over 1 or 2 nights,
Did you?
um, while the wife is away, and I was in the house alone, and I was like, you know what, it was really good. I actually think it was better than season 1, which is
It
hard to
might have
do.
been. Yeah, it
Yeah.
might have been.
So Emily Byrne is the main character. I'm gonna try not to give too much away, but she was in a traumatic kind of abduction type of scenario in season 1, and it goes about talking about how she got out of it early in season 1 and reunited with her family, and you know was trying to figure out what the heck happened, and ultimately, they kind of figure that out at the end of season 1, and then season 2 kind of threads in a new storyline in addition to the main storyline, which is how did the abduction uh, coincide with other things that have been going on in her life with her family and others. And so there was kind of felt like two different storylines going, both of which were really good.
Mhm.
And the end of season 2, it was a shocker. It was a
Yeah.
shocker. I didn't see it
Yep.
coming.
Mm.
So if you like kind of thrillers, how would you call this? Like a crime thriller,
Yeah, it's like
um,
suspense thriller.
suspense thriller. I give 2 thumbs up to both season 1 and season 2, and I'm excited to see season 3. We'll come back and look at that another
Nice.
time.
All right. All right. Well, that's going to wrap
Absentia.
up.
It's
Yeah,
on Netflix, by the way, everybody.
Netflix. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our show tonight. Again, remember, if you're watching us on X at Philly Porch, hit the follow button. If you're watching on YouTube, or you want to just go there the next time, it's at Philadelphia Sports Porch and smash that subscribe button. We also dump this into a podcast every evening after the show. You can find it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts. And of course, we're also on Philadelphia Beautiful's Facebook page and the Philadelphia Sports Porch
You can
Facebook
find us
page as
everywhere.
well.
Golly, we're everywhere.
We're everywhere all the time. And so, also, just to note, uh, how we looking, Rube, for post game after the playoff game?
When's the game? Sunday?
Sunday at 4:30. So game's probably gonna end around like 7:30 ish.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So we will be back here live. Join us for post game reaction. We're hoping it's for a big victory. Because if it isn't, it's going to be a brutal show. But we got to be there. We got to be there for you guys, and we'll give you room to vent if it's bad, right?
Yep.
And then also, just as a reminder, we're here every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, at all the channels that we just went over. So thanks for watching. We really appreciate it, and we are going to basically leave you with what we always leave you with, a little fly, eagles, fly, if we can. She might not be able to.